Welcome to Bright and Brighter, and today we're going to be discussing some game feature ideas I have, or some changes to some classes that I do. So this is just going to be a video series. This is going to be started a video series of just me yapping and rambling on about different ideas for Dark and Darker that I believe would be good. A lot of these ideas will be inspired. A lot of these ideas will just be me making them up on my own. So yeah, and I have a little bit of a visual here. This visual, I'll try and draw out a little bit of what I'm thinking. So let's start out with Fighter. Fighter's a cool class, right? Fighter can use all the weapons. They're all around okay. And large amount of player base plays Fighter. But if I were to add a new ability to Fighter, I'd name it something like Unlock Greater Full Potential, or Unlock Greater Potential, or Unlock Full Potential. And here's how it works. Basically, say you're the fighter and you pop this move. It basically, all it does is, you know the Spectral Knight sound? I'll just play real quick. That sound, it basically pops that sound, and then you get covered in this blue aura. See this blue aura around you. Like this. And all it gives you, I'll show you the buffs. All it gives you is plus 20% move speed, plus 20% physical damage bonus, and then plus 20% PDR. Okay? That is all it gives you to unlock Greater Full Potential, or release Greater Full Potential, or whatever you think is a better idea. But here's what it gives you. Okay, and you can have this on. It has infinite duration. Okay, you choose when you don't want it to be off. So the duration is infinite. But there are massive drawbacks. For every second you use this over 5 seconds, so this is the 5-second timeline, every second after, it'll deal 20 damage to you. Okay, you'll get 20 damage dealt to you every second after the 5 seconds. So let's say that you have this on for 10 seconds. You're dealing like 100 damage to yourself. It's crazy. And that's the major drawback of this this skill. It'll be a skill that you can pop. I believe that it shouldn't be campfireable. I think it should just be, you should be able to use this whenever. It has this long cooldown. Let's give it let's say 50-second cooldown. Let's make it a long cooldown. Actually, more balance would be 50 to 30. But if you turn off this ability before 5 seconds, so let's talk about the window before 5 seconds. This is 0 to 5. If you turn off the ability, because you can disable it whenever. It's like demon form, you can turn it off whenever. When you disable it, you get all of these stats, but the opposite. Minus 20% MS, minus 20% physical damage bonus, minus 20% PDR. So basically, you're just really, really strong for 5 seconds. So you have to do as much as you can in 5 seconds. And after that, you're just cooked. Like, you're cooked. And even if you turn it off over here, you'll still keep the debuffs here. And I guess this is to balance out, because you're just getting crazy stats, like 20% move speed, insane. 20% physical damage bonus, insane. 20% PDR, insane. Actually, wait, let's change this up. PDR plus MDR. So now you're crazy. Now you're crazy strong. And when you disable it, you only get minus 20% PDR. Yeah. So it reverts back to your main stats, and then this applies on top. You don't get minus 20% MDR. You just keep your base MDR. I believe that this is a very balanced skill. I'm just thinking right now, like, what would you use this for in a scenario? Like, let's say you build a, even buff duration wouldn't be good to run this. You have to have a good team behind you that can heal you for you to get enough time out of this. So you're dealing 20, 20, 20. So you have to be stacking a lot of health. Let's say you're building a crazy fighter kit. Let's say you have 180 HP. You're stacking like a really strong fighter kit. You could probably comfortably go on 9 whole seconds without having to turn this off. And let's say that you do have healers. Let's say you have a cleric with a crazy magical healing. I'd say even 12 seconds to 15 seconds if it's good enough. But if they're good enough, if their heals are strong enough. But this is a really powerful boost. 20 damage a second is kind of crazy. It's true. So, I don't know. I'd like to see what you guys think in the comments for this. Do you guys like this idea? Put in the comments if you have anything that you would change to this idea. But this first idea is greater full potential. It's gonna be called unlock greater full potential. That's idea number 1. Next idea. So for fighter, this idea will be that's actually tricky. That's tricky. Let's switch it up. I'm gonna do a barbarian idea. So for a barbarian, let's say you have your barbarian. Oh my gosh, that's a horrible nose. So you have your barbarian. And this is a new skill, another skill idea. It's not a perk. And this skill is simply called Showdown. Okay, so let's write this out. And all this perk, all this skill will do is it makes it so the opponent, you're looking at a single individual opponent. Say this is just some random other player. In your line of sight, this is like curse, like you know how you aim your curses. This is like aiming a curse. If you're looking directly at an opponent, you proc Showdown the skill. You can only use this once as a campfire. Proc Showdown the skill. It makes it so all oncoming damage to you minus 96% oncoming damage. Okay, now it's minus 96% outgoing damage. The same with this, the same with the enemy that you look at, same with the player you look at. They also get the same debuff. But if you try and attack the other player that you procced Showdown to, you deal 1-to-1 damage. So you deal your normal amount of damage. Same with them. They can deal their normal amount of damage back to you. So this prevents any outside force from interfering with this Showdown, from interfering with a 1v1. It's basically a 1v1 skill. You proc this skill, nothing else can interfere. Of course, you can still get slowed. You can still get hit by debuffs like Shriek, all that. But the enemy that you proc this on gets plus 4% max HP bonus. And you get plus 2% physical damage bonus. During the Showdown, all you do is just basically kill the other player. It'll give you, when you proc this ability, it'll give you like a red aura. So you have a red aura as your barbarian. And it'll give the player you're also looking at a red aura. So the player that you proc Showdown with. So I could see this being used in like team fights a lot. This is like pretty much only a team fight thing. So you have your team. So you have a team fighting, and it's just a standard cleric, let's say standard buff ball. cleric, fighter, bard. Say it's like a fighter buff ball. They have a bard back here. Okay, so if you think about it here, it's a pretty straight. It's a pretty crazy comp. If like normally it's a pretty crazy comp. Now it's more like triple caster or like I don't know. But it's a buff ball fighter, and you are playing with your team over here, and you're the barbarian. If you know your teammates can 2v2 the other team, the other two people, if you know your teammates can destroy these other two, you could be like, I think you could proc as a barbarian, proc showdown while targeting, let's say, the bard or the cleric, and then you can just completely take down one of their backline just uninterrupted. Unless they're good, unless they're really good, that they could 1v1 you and destroy you. But that's where I'd say it be used. And you can only use this once in the fight. So I don't know if this is that broken, personally. I think it's okay. They get 4% max HP bonus. It's like probably, let's say they're stacking like 180. Let's say they have 100 HP, that's just 4 extra HP. They could get maybe up to 6 extra HP. 7 extra HP if they're stacking a lot of health. But I don't know, this is maybe a way of balancing this. I'm already thinking about it. If this would be too strong, because it isn't, like, there's no way to find out how strong this really will be. But maybe it would give the barbarian a minus 5% physical damage bonus instead of a buff. But I believe the 2%. I think actually, you know, maybe it shouldn't get a 2% physical damage bonus. Now that I really think about it, let's erase that. You just keep your main stats and then get plus 4% max HP. So I think this would be not too strong. Maybe this could be increased to plus 8. But I'm just saying, man, like this is a pretty solid perk. I'm not perk. This is a pretty solid skill. I think this would be decent. Let's go on to the third idea. That's showdown for you. Requires campfires to refresh. The third and final idea for skill I have is, this is gonna sound crazy, but I think it's oh, how do I, it's a rogue skill. So for all your rogue players out there, let's get the hood on. He's all skinny because he's a little rogue. So this rogue perk, rogue skill, will be called I don't know a good idea for it. The name is up to whatever you guys think it should be called. Basically, this skill would allow you as a rogue to hit the opponent. You hit the skill button. So you click the skill button. All it does is force you to do a giant stab. This with the weapon, with the dagger you have in your hand. And once you stab your opponent with this, you will drop the weapon. You cannot use the weapon. And I think it would be finishing blow or something like that. I don't know what a good idea would be, but I'm just gonna write finishing blow. So basically you stab the opponent with your dagger and it deals plus 20 physical, okay, no, maybe not plus 20, plus 10 additional. You basically get a plus 10 additional weapon damage on your next stab, plus the normal damage you do with your dagger. But if this does not kill the opponent when you stab them, you get minus. This actually has a cooldown. Let's say this has a cooldown of 1 minute. 1 minute cooldown. Here are the debuffs you get. Minus 20. Actually, no, not 20. Minus 50% action speed. Minus 10% move speed, minus 10% PDR, then minus 10% max HP. This scales. 10 additional will scale. So I think this would be very, very balanced as a rogue. Finishing blow. Basically, you put all your eggs in one basket for one final attack, and if you mess up, this is what you get. Oh, and I forgot to clarify for the first fighter perk. I think the debuff on the first fighter perk, unlock greater full potential. Just color it differently. For the first fighter perk, the debuff should be, I don't know, 10 seconds. You have that horrible debuff. I feel like that would kill it. Let's give it 6 seconds. You have that horrible debuff. Oh, it feels 7 seconds. You have that debuff. This is for the fighter earlier. But for these debuffs, as a rogue, you'd have this for 10 seconds. And this is just to show how well you have to use this. And if you miss your attack, this also applies. So you have to have, I don't know, to run this perk, you have the skill, you have to have like perfect accuracy. You have to know that they're going to be one shot by this, because the 10 additional will be a lot of damage. It'll stack like a lot of damage on top of what you're already doing. So as a rogue, I don't know, I feel like this is balanced. I don't know. That will be the end of my first 3 skill ideas to Darker and Darker. If you guys like these ideas, just go put it in the comments. Just say what you think about these ideas. And if you have any ideas you'd like to see in a video, I'll go and make them. Okay? So, have a good one, guys.